Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing a full day wear test for the new Bite Beauty foundation. It is the Changemaker Supercharged Micellar Foundation. And before we get into it, I just want to mention that Risa of Risa Does Makeup and we were kind of chatting about, new makeup that we had purchased. It's something we chat about often. And we both got this pretty much on the same day. And we figured, let's just shout each other out because she has a very, very different skin type to mine. We're actually the same age. We're both 46, but she has very oily skin and I have very dry skin. So I thought it would be really interesting to see what her results were after a full day wear test versus mine. So definitely check out her channel and her video. I will link it down below. You guys all know Risa. In fact, many of you have probably come over because of Risa, so I won't go on for too long. But like I said, she has oily skin. She's a makeup artist. She's fantastic. Definitely check out her channel and her video. But we're going to be doing a full day wear test for this, and I'm excited. I've heard very, very good things about this. So I have it in the shade L30. I don't know why I'm holding that up for you. I have it in the shade L30, and this is like deemed clean beauty at Sephora. So it's got that like green symbol on it. It is vegan and it is cruelty free. And where's this made? Actually, I'm just curious. I know Bite Beauty is a Canadian brand, but this was made in Italy. Let's go ahead and just open this. I believe this foundation was $39.50 here in the US. And I don't know if I mentioned, I got this at Sephora. And I went into store and kind of looked at the shades, was kind of hemming and hawing about whether I needed to get yet another foundation. And then I decided that apparently, yes, I needed another foundation. So when I was in store, I thought L30 looked pretty good. I do wonder if it's a little bit deep for me. We'll see. There's a 12-month shelf life once it's been opened, and this is 1 fluid ounce. It comes in the squeezy tube, which I really like. And oh, and there's a little safety seal. Let me go ahead and take that off. And while I'm doing that, I'm just gonna look on the box and see if there are any sort of suggestions on how to apply. And here's actually a preview of what just came out of the bottle. And it looks like it has a nice like lotiony consistency. It's not runny or anything. Oh, it feels nice. Oh, it feels light. It actually feels very, very light. There are 32 shades in all, and I'm on the Sephora site right now. It says the coverage is medium, the finish is natural, the skin type is normal, dry, combination, oily, basically everyone. And there's 2 highlighted ingredients, maqui, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly, maqui berry, which is an antioxidant-rich ingredient that helps nurture your complexion, and micellar technology. It gently mimics skin texture for a smooth, non-cakey look. All right, it feels really smooth without feeling like silicone-y. It doesn't feel very silicone-y at all, actually. It just feels like skincare, actually. Wow, today's a great day for a foundation test. What is going on this side of my face? Wow. Okay, they have suggested usage on Sephora. Dot foundation onto cheeks, forehead, and nose. For best results, using your fingers or a brush. Start from the center of your face and blend outward. Awesome. I'm going to use a brush. That is my preferred tool. All right, I'm gonna try before I always forget, it is 7 o'clock in the morning right now. So we are getting a nice, good head start on the day. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue. I've got my Refer number 17 brush. This is a fairly small size foundation brush, but it's great for blending in cream products. It's like a flat top kabuki brush. So I am going to squeeze some out onto the back of my hand. It's gone forever. And I'm just gonna start on one side and then we can compare the 2 sides just to, I don't know, I feel like it's a good way to see like what the coverage is like. I really like the texture of this foundation. It really is like, it's so creamy, but not heavy. So I think this L30 shade is indeed a good shade match for me. So if you have a similar skin tone to mine, I think that'll work. Well, with that amount, I feel like the coverage is light, actually. I think it's very light. It actually did a good job covering up the redness, but I feel like the kind of like the sallowness around my eye is still pretty visible. And you can see like on my forehead, there's not like, usually when I do this, there's like a line for like medium to full coverage foundations. So maybe this is buildable. Let's go ahead and squeeze a little bit more out and apply some more. I bet if I used my fingers to apply, coverage would be a little bit fuller. It has just the faintest smell. It's so faint, it just smells kind of clean. Oh yeah, I see now the coverage there. So this is definitely buildable to medium for sure. I think it just took 2 light layers and now you can really see more of a difference on my forehead. I should also mention before I forget that Bite Beauty released this foundation with a primer, actually 2 primers, one for dry skin, one for oily skin, and also some pressed powders. I didn't get either of those. I'm very happy with the primers that I have. I'm also like drowning in powders, so I decided to skip on those. So we're just focusing on the foundation today. It looks really nice. There's just a hint of like glowiness. I think it just looks kind of like, on my dry skin, I feel like it just looks very, very healthy. It's not like there's any like highlighty bits or anything in there. I think it just looks very, very nice. Yeah, so far I want to say it looks very nice. It looks very natural. I don't feel like it's doing much like blurring. I feel like the fine lines under my eyes are still there. You can see them. I don't think it's emphasizing them per se, but I definitely still see them. And there's some foundations that I love that I use that I feel like does a better job like blurring. But this is very nice. Let's go ahead and apply it to the rest of my face. And I'm actually going to use my fingers this time. Not my favorite thing to do, but I do want to see if, what is that? I do want to see if the coverage is a little bit closer to medium right off the bat versus the brush. Not necessarily, not necessarily. So I'm just gonna wipe my hands off and add another layer on with the brush. All right, so my first observation is that this is definitely a foundation that I think you're going to want to set down. It's still pretty tacky, and I feel like when I kind of smear my finger around my nose to kind of smooth things out, I still see the foundation moving. And it's been a couple minutes. So yeah, I think you're definitely going to want to set this foundation down. Okay, so just a couple of observations, and what I'm gonna do is zoom in and kind of pan down. So along my forehead, I have some, it's not really texture, but like my skin here is kind of like scar-like along my hairline from old eczema issues, and foundations that I really like kind of handle that area really, really well. Like you could never tell that there's something else going on there. But this foundation is, I don't know, it's kind of sitting along that funky skin, and it looks a little different. It looks like it's a little bit cakey up there. Powdering sometimes helps, powdering sometimes makes it worse, so we'll have to see after I powder. But it looks decent around the eyes, and then around my nose and mouth area is also some trouble areas for me. So the tip of my nose, I don't think it's actually handling the tip of my nose very well. Again, powdering I think may help that a lot. I have very dry skin, but the tip of my nose is definitely the most oily on my face. So I just feel like it's kind of breaking up around my nose, but again, I think powdering could help. And then around my mouth, some foundations tend to look really cakey and thick around there. I really don't know what that's about, even like before I eat anything, but I think this foundation actually looks nice around there. So at the moment, my only issues are just kind of around my hairline on my forehead and just like the tip of my nose. I feel like it's doing some funky things. But other than that, I feel like it looks really, really nice on the rest of my face. The coverage is even. It's definitely not oxidizing or doing anything funky. I think it looks really good overall. So let's go ahead and apply some powder and see if that kind of takes care of what I see going on in the trouble areas. All right, I've got my Chikuhodo Z1 brush, and I've got my Kogendo Natural Lighting Powder, which is my favorite face setting powder. I'm just gonna get just a little bit on the brush. Again, I have dry skin, so I don't like to over powder. And I'm just going to pounce some on. Oh yeah, that actually, I think, did a nice job kind of calming it down. I think it's because this foundation stays pretty emollient, like it doesn't set itself at all. I really think that powdering is going to help. I feel like any funkiness I was seeing along the hairline is pretty much gone now. So that is good. Going to set my nose. See if the same magic happens. I think the tip of my nose looks better. where it's kind of oily over here, and I felt like maybe the foundation was breaking up. But now I feel like around my nostrils, it looks a little cakey. Yeah, it looks a little cakey right there. You know, right in that area. I do want to mention that I still have my cold. It's like lingering a little bit. I feel totally fine, but like my nose is still running a little bit. I'm still coughing a little bit. And because my nose is still running, this is either going to be a great test for this foundation or completely unfair, but we'll keep that in mind. I will mention again when I do my check-in and my final check-in at the end of the day. But let me go ahead and put on the rest of my makeup, and we'll come back again just to do another quick look before I take off for the rest of my day. All right, makeup is on. I did make an observation when I was putting on some of my eyeliner that I did notice that, I don't know, it just looks a little cakey underneath my eyes, I guess you could say. It doesn't look quite as flawless as I would like. And I didn't put any concealer on because I really like to see how the foundation kind of like wears around the eyes. And so concealer could help. Concealer could actually make it work. But with the foundation just alone under my eyes, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't look great. And you guys probably can't even see it because of the lighting, but it just looks a little bit like obvious. Like you can see like makeup underneath my eyes. Other than that, everything applied over the foundation really nicely. I feel like my cheap products applied like very smoothly, blended out really nicely. I think I'm ready to kind of get going with my day, see how this foundation wears for the rest of the day. And let's go ahead and take a look at my first check-in. Hey guys, I figured I would do my first check-in here in some natural light because I'm definitely having some issues with this foundation. I just feel like it's kind of like aging my under eyes. It's definitely looking really, really cakey around my mouth, and I haven't eaten. I haven't had any lunch. I wanted to do this check-in before I like chowed down on anything just so you guys could get a real sense of this. It's kind of like fading around my nose already. It's just not, I don't know, it's just not great. Let me see if I can get a real close-up of my eye here. So, do you see how it's just kind of looking, I don't know, cakey, and like it's starting to kind of emphasize my lines down there. At first, when I first applied this, I didn't think it was emphasizing my lines. I could tell that it wasn't doing much for my lines, but I feel like now it's like emphasizing my lines, and it's doing the same thing with my lines around here. And, you know, I have lines there, but a lot of the other foundations that I really love, they just don't kind of like accentuate my lines the way this is. It just, yeah, it just looks really bad. And I hope you guys can see just kind of like, I don't know, like it just looks cakey. Can you see that like right here? It just randomly looks cakey. And I just exfoliated my skin because I wanted to kind of have like a really smooth canvas, give this foundation like its best shot. And yeah, it's not looking that great. My forehead is looking, it's looking okay, but I think overall I'm not enjoying like how makeup-y this is looking. I don't know, in my eyes, I just feel like it looks like I have makeup on, and you know, I don't like really obvious makeup, and all the foundations that I really, really love look very, very natural and very skin-like, despite their coverage, from light to medium. And this just, I don't know, this so far, it's not cutting it. It's not cutting it for me. So we'll see. I can't imagine this is going to get much better as the day goes on, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I will see you at my final check-in. Hello. All right. It is 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I've had this makeup on for 10 hours, and I want to say that it's okay, but it is definitely not one of my favorites. So I pretty much gave you all of my thoughts at the first check-in, which was after 5 hours. Since then, I have actually gone out. I've run some errands. I've, you know, been in and out of the car, sunshine. I got my nails done. And the foundation hasn't really changed since then. I feel like it kind of settled and I got to see its true colors, if you will. I feel like it's emphasizing my laugh lines a little bit. I feel like it is kind of drying up my under eye a little bit. And it looks like a little bit cakey around my mouth. And that's it. It hasn't actually gotten worse since then, which is actually really great. But overall, it's really just kind of an okay foundation for me. I think it's nice. I don't know if this is one that I'm going to reach for. I was thinking about all the foundations that I like more than this. This probably falls, I don't know, maybe within the top 10 for what I have, but definitely not in the top 5. So actually, why don't we do some close-ups? We'll start with the forehead. I just want to point out it's fading a little bit, like around my hairline. After 10 hours, I don't think that that's like, oh my God, this is terrible. I think that's pretty normal. And I feel like it's like just noticeable to me because I'm like really inspecting my face. So I just see it like right around here a little bit and right around here. I don't know if you guys will see it, but overall, I think my forehead looks very decent. I think it looks really nice. And then just around my eyes, I do feel like it looks a little dry underneath my eyes. Basically, I just don't think this foundation is like doing anything for my under eyes. And then for my around the nose area, I actually think any cakiness that I saw around my nostrils, that's pretty much gone. I think my natural oils kind of came through and kind of helped any sort of dryness that I saw around here. So I think that actually looks pretty good, but because this always was a little bit oily, I do feel like the foundation has kind of worn off the tip of my nose. But that's okay. Again, just kind of like around my forehead. After 10 hours, not many foundations kind of stick around at the tip of my nose. So that's okay. And then around my mouth, I just feel like it looks a little cakey. Like it looks a little cakey, like right here. And then right underneath my lip. And the lunch that I had was not like messy. It wasn't like a sandwich or pizza or anything. I actually had meatballs. So it was very contained and it wasn't like, I was wiping my mouth or whatever. It was a very kind of like neat meal. Because I wanted something that really wasn't going to like disturb the foundation, but yet it's still, I don't know, like thickening up around here, probably because there's just a lot of movement. And in terms of my cheek area, I think it looks really like smooth. I like the finish of it. It's very skin-like. There's just a little bit of radiance there, almost like, like moisturizer. It just generally looks really, really nice on the skin. So overall, I think this foundation is fine. I think it's good. I don't really have any like major problems with it. But anyway, that is it for this full day wear test of the Bite Beauty Changemaker foundation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any questions down below in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.